I just want to talk to you for a minute. Have you ever had those meals or a food item that you just don't order out anywhere, that the only ones you'll eat either are the ones you make or your mama makes or grandma makes, or there's just one person that knows how to make it and you're scared to order it out in a restaurant? Yeah, well, I have one of those too. And something I never, ever, ever, ever order at a restaurant is meatloaf. I like my mama's meatloaf, and she is gone to be with the Lord, and so I have learned to make her meatloaf. So now, I only like my meatloaf. So, now if somebody with me, like if my husband orders meatloaf, I may reach over and try it. Maybe, if I'm feeling adventurous. But normally, I do not eat meatloaf out. I only like mine. I remember, I don't know if I was a child or what, but I just remember one time being excited about meatloaf because I love my mama's meatloaf, and I ordered it out, and when I tasted it, ugh, oh, it was awful. It was awful, and people have so many variations of meatloaf. Like some people have it really kind of savory or like really loafy, like, I mean, thick and dense, and some people's is light and moist. Mine would tend to be more light and moist, and especially really moist if I forget to drain the grease off, which I have done before. And a lot of people go all out on the sauces that they put on it. Y'all, I use the best sauce, but the most simple sauce in the whole wide world. And I'm going to show you that in just a minute. But we're going to make meatloaf. So, I'm going to go in there and get all my ingredients out so I can show you. And, first, let me show you. I made pound cake a while ago, and there's a video on the pound cake. I had the batter, the flour, I had it everywhere. My mixing bowl was not as deep as the one I normally use. So I have it all over me from head to toe. So I went and got an apron out. And I got this for Christmas. And all of you know I'm expecting a grandbaby in May. And the name I want to be called is Bubbles. And the reason I want to be called Bubbles is because it's just a happy, fun name. You know, and I'll love whatever the baby calls me. I'll love it and I will embrace it. But I've just kind of always thought Bubbles was cute. And the way that came about was my daughter has a friend who had a little girl. And I was at the church one day washing dishes. And she came over to me and I picked her up. And I was holding her while I was running the dishwater. And, you know, the dish suds and bubbles, I got some up in my hand and I blew them. And she and I both would squeal and laugh and giggle and say, Bubbles, Bubbles. Well, me being called Bubbles from that point on just kind of stuck. And so several of the kids at our church now, they call me Bubbles. And so it's just kind of stuck. And so my daughter had this apron made for me. I don't know if you can see it. It says Bubbles Kitchen. I love it. Bubbles Kitchen. So, but anyway, let's go to Bubbles Kitchen and make meatloaf. See you guys in a little bit. Hey guys, welcome back. I am getting everything ready to make my meatloaf. What you're going to need is 2 pounds of ground beef. And this is our ground beef from the cow we butchered. And, I'm dripping. It actually has our farm name on it, L&B Farms. I don't know if you can see that, but anyway, I was really excited about having a label on our beef. But anyway, you're going to need 2 pounds of the ground beef. Let me get a napkin. I'm dripping. Sorry about that. What you'll need is an onion, and this is a really big onion, so I probably won't use but half of it, if even that. good green bell pepper. I probably won't use all of that. Salt and pepper. You can put seasoning salt in it if you like. If you like a little garlic taste, garlic powder would be okay. I don't normally put that in my meatloaf. I may sprinkle a little bit in there today, but either way, take it or leave it. I use 1 egg for binding to get it to stick together. Now, as far as the bread, I don't use breadcrumbs. I don't use bread. I use saltine crackers, and that's the majority of it. I use saltine crackers, and then I also use some oatmeal, just old-fashioned oatmeal, and I'll just sprinkle it. Unfortunately, this is a recipe I don't really have measurements for. You just get the meat, you work the meat until it sticks together pretty good and forms a loaf. And I'll try to add measurements at the bottom of the screen, at the bottom of the video. But I'm not promising anything because it's just kind of how I feel about it. It's one of those things you just know. And on the bell pepper, my family, they like bell pepper, but not really big chunks of it. So I chop that up pretty fine, and same with the onions. And that way it cooks good. It's not crunchy. Now, let me tell you about the secret sauce that I put in the meatloaf and I put on top. You know, a lot of people go and they make a separate sauce and they work really hard and they put brown sugar and I just don't like those. I've seen some with mustard and I just don't like those. But let me tell you the sophisticated sauce that my wonderful meatloaf, and a gentleman had my meatloaf and he was like, this is the only meatloaf to have. But that was the gentleman I cooked for in church. That sounded kind of bad, but anyway. So let me show you this sophisticated sauce that you need to put in your meatloaf. Ketchup. Yes. I put ketchup in the mixture and then I spread it on top of the mixture once I get it in my loaf pan. And it's delicious. And then if that's not even enough, I usually set this on the table when we serve the meatloaf and we can squirt a little extra on there. So that is the sophistication of my meatloaf. And the secret ingredient is ketchup. You don't have to make a tomato sauce. You don't have to make any special thing to go on top. Ketchup, it's made and easy and ready for you. So I'm going to go away and chop up my vegetables and chop up my onion and get everything in the bowl and try to find my meatloaf pan. Anyway, and I will see you guys back in just a second. Alright guys, so I have got my vegetables cleaned up. Cleaned up. I've cleaned them and I've chopped them. I have here about half of this onion right here. And I have about 2 of the segments the size of this green pepper. I may need more green pepper, so I'm leaving it out. But I've already got my beef in here. And so I'm just going to drop in my vegetables. I'll probably go ahead and salt and pepper. And let me go ahead and tell you, this is not a job to do with your rings on. So take your rings off. You will thank me later. Yeah. Ask me how I know. Alright. I'm going to try just a little bit of garlic powder. Not much. Just a little bit. Alright. So, your tools are your hands. So we're just going to go in. And I'm just going to... Oh, it's cold. This meat's cold. I had it in the refrigerator. I forgot to I was going to let it lay out and let it get to room temperature. forgot. All right, you don't want to overmix it. So I'm just going to put half of the onion at first. Just going to kind of come in and take a little. And I'm going to come over here and take half of the green pepper. And that's what I do. I just kind of take half and mix it and look at it and see if I think it needs more. If you get it mixed good and you can see green and you can see onion throughout, you're good. You don't want to overdo it or you'll have heartburn. I think I'm pretty good actually. So I'm going to take just like a fingerful of onions and maybe the same of green peppers, and that should do me. I actually may have just put a little too much then. So you want to see an onion and green pepper, you know, throughout, but you don't want to overdo it. So let me wash my hands and I'll kind of show you what it's looking like so far, and then I'll have to go back in with my hands again. So hang on just a second. I'm gonna wash my hands. Okay, my hands are all washed, and I wanted to just show you what it looks like. See, you can see green throughout. You can see onion throughout. So, and you know, there's some more in there. If you want more, put more. But you don't want to overdo it. So I think that's good. All right, I'm going to add the rest. All right. So I'm kind of good with my onions and peppers. I'm not going to put any more. So here comes the fun part. Okay, so I'm ready to add the rest of the stuff. And it doesn't matter what order you add it in. I'm probably going to start with the egg. Just because I want to get all my wet stuff in there, and then I know how much oatmeal and crackers to add. So I'll probably have to stop off and on and wash my hands. Let me get a towel. Well, that's okay. All right, we're going to add the egg. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and let me see if I haven't opened one. Of course not. Why would I haven't opened one? Don't you love it when everything goes haywire? That's okay. Now this meatloaf, I'm gonna serve it up with, I normally serve it with green peas and stewed potatoes. All right, I probably added a fourth of a cup maybe just then. So now I'm going in with my hands. And I'm squishing up that egg because I never did mix it in. So I'm going to squeeze it in with the ketchup. This meat is so cold. Ah! I don't know why I didn't lay it out. All right, I'm gonna see, this is the yucky part. I'm gonna take this napkin and hold it around the ketchup bottle. Squeeze just a little bit more. I mean, not a lot. I think I have plenty. Maybe just a couple of tablespoons more. And back in. Back in with your hands. All right, so I'm going to go away again and wash my hands. And then I'm going to add the crackers and oatmeal. Y'all, it's a really good conditioner for your hands. So, I use about half to 3/4 of a sleeve of crackers. And somebody had already been in this sleeve of crackers, so I'm just going for it. And what I do is I just get a stack out. I stand over my bowl. And I squish and I rub my fingers together. And I get all these beautiful little crumbs. And so I'm going to go in maybe 2 stacks like that. That's good. See, here's my other stack. I have, you know, about maybe a third of a sleeve left. And I may need more. And then just for added texture, I just sprinkle in a little bit of oatmeal. Maybe a fourth of a cup. Not a lot. Because the crackers is really doing the job. The oatmeal just gives it a little added texture. Now, at this stage, if you feel that it's too dry or you've added too many crackers, this is where you can add more ketchup. And in fact, I may need to add a little bit of ketchup. I'm going to take my napkin again around my ketchup bottle, and I am going to add just a little bit more. Just kind of go around it a couple of times. And this should be good from here. Y'all, this is the easiest. I mean, beef, onion, pepper, salt, pepper, crackers. You don't even have to use the oatmeal. The oatmeal, in fact, I never used the oatmeal until recently. I've just recently started using the oatmeal. And ketchup. How easy can that be? And the ketchup is that's the star of the show. This is a ketchup. So, all right. I'm going back to the sink. And I'm just going to rinse off because I'm going to have to handle this meat again to get it in the pan. So I'll be right back. Okay, there's the meatloaf. You see how it's holding together like in a ball? I'm going to get that over here into the pan. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Alright guys, so here is my meatloaf in the pan. I've got it kind of patted down. It stayed right in a perfect shape. So what I'm going to do with this now is, and I moved the wrong thing, I'm going to take my secret sauce, and it can be any brand of ketchup. I'm not brand particular on my ketchup, but mayonnaise I am. Although I do think there is a difference in the brands of ketchup. I'm just not a connoisseur on which ones are the best. I do think some of your other off weird brands aren't quite as good. So I just covered the top with ketchup, as you see here. And I just take the back of a spoon and smear it all out. Now, I'm really not sure how long I bake this because I just kind of stick it in there and watch it. But right now, there is a pound cake in my oven. So, I'm going to wait for it to come out. And I'm going to stick this in the refrigerator because it's not even supper time. I'm not even sure what time it is. But, so I think it bakes usually for about an hour. I will time it just so I can tell you guys how long it took me. Now, if you want to do a smaller scale 1 pound of hamburger, you just cut back on everything. And like you saw, I really didn't measure my onions or my peppers, but you just kind of want to eyeball it and not go overboard. So I'm going to wait for my cake to come out of the oven, and then I'll stick my meatloaf in, and I'll show you that. I did tell you what I'm serving this with. I'm going to serve it with just some green peas. My husband hates green peas, but he's actually learned to like them. He has always, as long as we've been married, called them dog ticks. And for some reason, they remind him of dog ticks. But anyway, that's what he refers to the peas as. But that's just something that's always gone together in our household was meatloaf, and then I serve peas. I also serve a big pot of stewed potatoes. Yum! Yum! That's my favorite. I normally go to our local store, and they have these rolls in their deli section that's already made. They're, they're oval shaped, and they have a little crease in the center. And I just smear a little butter on them and just heat them up, basically. I don't have any of those right now. So I think I'm going to feel froggy and make yeast rolls. So I'll do a tutorial on that for you too. So anyway, Bryant has gone to, this morning, the other day we started setting up our chicken houses because we're fixing to get our next flock in. Then we got a call that we were having our organic certification people come in on Monday. Well, Friday, yesterday, which was Friday, we started setting up the houses, and we got a call, and the organic people were 10 minutes away, and they wanted to do our farm then. So I knew we would pass with flying colors, but, they came, and it was quick, easy, and so we are organic certified. So today we went back and finished setting up the houses, getting them ready for our chickens that are coming Monday. So we worked hard at the farm this morning. I came home, and then Bryant got a call a while ago that someone in the church had a family member get hurt, and they're in the hospital. So my husband has gone to the hospital to be with them. And I tell you, farming and ministry, I get emotional on how happy I am at both, and how proud I am of my husband, who works so very hard at both. And I don't think there's anybody else on the face of this earth other than my husband that pours himself 110% into everything he does. It doesn't matter what it is. And he gives his all. So he's worked hard at the farm. Now he's at the hospital ministering. And the Lord has just blessed us with 2 jobs that go hand in hand. The farm allows us both to be at home and allows us both to minister. And then the ministry is our passion. That's our calling. That's our that's what we were put on this earth to do. So, and we were put on this earth to do it together as a team. So the Lord definitely knows what He's doing. So I did not mean to get emotional over my meatloaf. So I will see you guys. I will let you see when we eat tonight. Hey guys, so I am making my yeast rolls. And let me just tell you what I have in my mixer now. I have 2 cups of warm water. I have about a tablespoon of your instant yeast. Not quite a full tablespoon. Normally you do 2 of the packets, but I didn't have any of the packets, so I just used a little shy of a tablespoon of that. 4 tablespoons of sugar. 2 heaping teaspoons of salt, and 6 tablespoons of oil. If you remember, I've made these before and I forgot the salt. And they were still good. They were wonderfully soft and good, but it was definitely missing the salt. So don't forget the salt. But I'm going to go get my flour and I'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, so I've added 5 cups of flour and I'm just letting it go and knead. In just a little bit I will scrape down the sides. But I'm just going to let it do its thing. Okay guys, I have my dough here for our yeast rolls. It is a really sticky dough. And let me tell you, I try to give credit where credit is due. I got this recipe off of She's in Her Apron YouTube's channel. So go check her out. Her name's Kimmy. That's where I got this recipe from. Now this is a sticky dough. And so you just take some and you just ball it up. And I'm going to try different sizes. I like that size. Maybe not quite that big. I'm gonna just kind of test this out. My first one was too small. My second one maybe a little too big. So maybe this one will be just right. And it was just right. So you want to leave a little room because these are going to rise for an hour. And the reason I'm dusting my fingers is this dough is really sticky. And it makes quite a lot. I mean, that's a pretty big batch. Now I did grease my pan. That may be too much. Kimmy on her channel, on her YouTube channel, she actually baked hers in a muffin tin, which was really kind of cool. I didn't know where my muffin tin was right off. And this was kind of, well, the day's kind of gotten away from me. And it's 3:44 now. So, I think that's right. I hope it's right. I hope it's not later than that. But I'm just going to keep rolling these out. They're going to keep sticking to my hand. So I will see you back. I don't know. I'll probably put this yeast roll on the same one as my meatloaf, just because it's so quick and easy. And I'll show you how we both turn out at supper time, or how they both turn out at supper time. So I will see you guys back in a little bit. Now these yeast rolls will rise for an hour. Okay, there are the yeast rolls, all my many different sizes I made. Okay, there's the meatloaf, and somebody's already been in it. And I told you I like mine moist and not dry. So therefore mine falls apart. Of course I'm using a spoon, that's why it's not coming out so good. But let me get Daddy a fork, and while he's going in for the potatoes, let me get him a fork and we'll see if, tell me how it is.
Good and moist.
Do you need more ketchup on it?
Nope, that's good right there. Perfect.
All right, will you break open that roll and show them?
Perfect roll. Fluffy.
And I remembered the salt this time. Show us the bottom. They stayed in there perfect timing. All right, our supper. Peas are still cooking. They're coming though. A perfect Saturday evening meal. And a wonderful pound cake to end it with. Hey y'all, I'm exhausted and I am laying on the couch. But I just had to tell you, I'm full, I'm tired because we just ate supper and I'm exhausted from cooking and exhausted from eating. But I just wanted you to know I nailed the yeast rolls. I have not had any as good as they were at a restaurant. I nailed the yeast rolls. Everything was delicious. My meatloaf was off the hook, but I guess I was iffy about the yeast rolls, but I nailed it. Nailed it!